I hope everybody had joined. Uh, Welcome all in the enzyme lecture number 2 for the biochemistry subject. It is from the first year, second sem as per the PCI syllabus. So here we are with the for as we in a last lecture day before yesterday we had completed about the enzyme classification of enzyme, how the enzyme has been discovered likewise, and then particularly we had seen the enzyme use also along with the classification as specified in the International Union of Biochemistry. So I welcome you all in this lecture. So today we will focus on the how the enzyme is nothing but activity takes place. So very important is what the first step is nothing but we can say here the substrate, any substrate is nothing but plays an important role in a chemical reaction. So likewise in biochemical reaction we are having one substrate, and that is nothing but bind with the enzyme. The enzyme can modulate itself. Some enzymes are nothing but a specific for the substrate. You can see here the substrate is nothing but a specific. So in that case, first is for the activity purpose, the enzyme should bind with the substrate, and that is nothing but the that bonding is nothing but depend on the structure conformation of the lock and key model, or we can say it may be induced fit or substrate. So in coming lecture we will learn about these all theory, that is nothing but the enzyme substrate complex. The basic you have to understand here is a substrate should bind with the enzyme. Substrate should bind with the enzyme, and that is nothing but we can say it may be covalently or we can say non-covalent bond, so depend on the enzyme. But specifically we can say when we think about the enzyme is enzyme will bind with the substrate, that is forming a enzyme substrate complex formation, and further that substrate convert into product, and that is nothing but further it is forming a product. So after that the product is formed, the enzyme will detach from the particular complex, and that is nothing but basic theory behind the enzyme activity. So whenever the enzyme activity takes place, we are considering it nothing but depend on the complex formation, depend upon the time, so various factors are there which can affect the enzyme activity, and that we will learn in this lecture. After objective of this today's lecture is nothing but we have to understand the role of enzyme and the various activity parameter, that is nothing but various parameters which can affect enzyme activity. So in today's lecture, our objective is nothing but to understand the basic theory behind the activity of enzyme, and how the other factor will affect the enzyme activity, that we will learn in a descriptive manner. So at the end of this lecture you can able to understand the theory behind the enzyme activity, you can understand the factors affecting enzyme activity and how they are affecting the enzyme activity. So that is nothing but we can say you can understand. Now come towards the point. So various factors which affecting enzyme activity. So today we are completing the 7 parameters of the enzyme activity, and one parameter we will detail we will study in tomorrow itself. So first if is nothing but we can say that is effect of substrate concentration we will study tomorrow, because in that we have to understand the Linover-Burke plot, and we also understand kinetics of the enzyme reaction. So in kinetics very important is what interaction of the and high activation energy of the compound. So that is nothing but we will learn that in the next lecture. But today's lecture we will cover up the various factors affecting enzyme activity, and that factors, the first factor which over there, which is nothing but known as a enzyme. I hope if any visual problem is there or audible problem is there, let me know by the message. But at least right now, did you able to see the screen notes is visible now? If yes, please send me yes sir. Many students are had joined, so thank you very much for that. And come towards the point. So first of all, are you listening mine? Yes, okay. It is not clearly visible. So just one second, I will make adjustment of little bit. Now is it visible? Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. The many students are here right now, but still some are missing. So, okay, thank you very much. So we will continue with our lecture. So in that, factors affecting enzyme activity is nothing but we can say we have to learn about effect of the temperature, then effect of the pH, then concentration of the enzyme, effect of the activators, effect of product concentration, effect of the time, effect of the light, effect of the light and radiation, and effect of the substrate concentration. So in these lectures, so we have to learn about these are the factors affecting enzyme activity. So which are the factors affecting enzyme activity? Nothing but the firstly temperature, then pH, then E is enzyme concentration, then activators, product concentration, effect of the time, light and radiation, and substrate concentration. So in the next lecture, I will show you how you can remember these all terms by the short form. So as we studied the short form of the enzyme classification is nothing but OT hill, or it may be HOTIL. So that short form we had created somewhat ridiculously, but that ridiculous thing can be easy to remember. So now come towards the point, one by one we will study which are the effects of the enzyme activity and the temperature is there. So first parameter, factors affecting enzyme activity, is known to be effect of the temperature. So effect of the temperature, how it is affect the activity. So for this I can give you a simple example. You are keeping for the particular fermentation process, you are keeping the idli batter to form at the night, and at the morning you may get a particularly ready batter for the formation of the idli or dosa. So why I am giving such example? Because it is a remember example, I can say. So I will ask you one question. So we think about this activity, is it a same time period required to completion of that batter ready form in summer season, in winter season, and rainy season? My question is, to whatever the time required, say example, if we consider at the 11 p.m. we are keeping, and at the 7 p.m. we are checking, 7 a.m. we are checking that it has been batter has been ready. So is it possible the same way in the summer season, same way in the winter season, and same way in the rainy season? The answer of this question is no. It is not possible that the whatever the idli batter or fermentation process. Yeah, correct, Pramod Kondke had given me answer correct. No, it is not like that. Correct. Why? Because it is an enzymatic reaction. It is an enzymatic reaction. Yes, Sainath also had given the perfect answer. So no is the answer of it. So when we think about why it has been happening, it is because of the effect of the temperature. See, in sunny, we can say rainy season, and particularly we can say cold season, whichever we can say, winter season. Ritika also given the answer perfectly. So, in the cold winter season, or we can say in a summer rainy season, it will be little bit late. The reaction will be required some time. Why require the time? Because temperature is very important, particularly even the formation of the curd also, that is nothing but we can say that process is also required some very light temperature, or we can say we have to milk we should increase in a temperature wise. Yes, Shweta had also given the nice answer. So we are at the end, what we are getting, that these enzymatic process are nothing but the temperature dependent, because summer season the temperature is increase, rainy season is a nothing but little bit decrease, and then particular winter season is a little bit cold. So in that it is required the time for this completion of the enzymatic reaction. So that's why the temperature is effect is also very important in enzyme activity. So enzyme activity is nothing but depend on the temperature also. So temperature is one of the first parameter which can affect the, particularly we can say, which can affect the enzyme reaction. Now for that we required one graph. A graph is nothing but a enzyme velocity against the temperature. enzyme velocity against the temperature. So what is happening? As your temperature increase, it is increasing the velocity of the reaction, and enzyme velocity will get increased. And after certain period, the enzyme again decrease. Enzyme activity decrease. So this period, this particular temperature here, which has been very important. So this temperature is known as optimum temperature. This temperature is known as optimum temperature. So at a temperature at which specifically we can say it will have the maximum activity, temperature having a maximum activity. So like this is nothing but the effect of temperature is there, and that can be measured in a specifically. So when you draw the velocity of the enzyme reaction, particularly we can say against the temperature, it will show a bell shaped graph. Bell shaped graph. This one is known as a bell shaped graph. So in that temperature coefficient, that is nothing but a Q10, which is nothing but as an increase in enzyme velocity when the temperature increase a 10 degree. Q10 means what? 10 degree. Means say 20 degrees Celsius, what is activity of the enzyme? 30 degrees Celsius, what is the activity? 40 degrees Celsius, what is the activity? So basically temperature coefficient is a unit by which you can check, or we can say routinize, we can say the effect of the temperature. So and this is nothing but we can say temperature can be affected. So as the temperature increase, it will increase the activity of the enzyme, but up to certain limit, and that after that temperature, if you increase the temperature, then it will decrease the activity, and that is known as a particular. Why it has been happening? Can anybody answer me this question? क्यों ऐसे होता है? क्यों एंजाइम एक्टिवेट नहीं होता? The first of all, the answer of this is nothing but when enzyme, just go in a back, a particular back history, whatever the last lecture we studied, enzyme is made up of protein, and once the enzyme is protein made up of, so it may be affected by the temperature. Because say protein, I given the example of milk also. When you boiling the milk, the protein will get coagulate, or colloidal nature it will form, and that is because the protein is made up of tertiary structure, that is nothing but it is known as a made up of polypeptide as a tertiary structure, and this tertiary structure, it is thermolabile. So that question has been asked by the one student on that lecture. So thermolabile means what? As the increase the temperature, it will change the configuration of the enzyme, and configuration of the enzyme is changed, so definitely the activity of the enzyme will get changed. And that's why as I increase the temperature, there is a higher activation energy is there, and then more molecular collision will take place, and intermolecular interaction of the molecules are more, and that's why it will increase the activity. So what is there? When you increase the temperature, higher activation energy takes place, and that is nothing but it will cause a more molecule collision and interaction of the particularly we can say molecule, and that's why the temperature get affected. So any question in this? So we'll go forward. So in this effect of temperature we had studied just now. Now the next parameter, which is nothing but we can say effect of the pH. Before that, we have to know some terms are nothing but say can some enzymes are nothing but temperature can be affect the enzyme, but some enzyme are not thermolabile, but they stand in a higher temperature also. So DNA polymerase is one example of the example of the enzyme which can be stable up to 100 degrees Celsius. So that is optimum temperature is nothing but almost 100 degrees Celsius it is active. So one term is there, that is a denaturation. So why denaturation? Is a dearrangement of the native structure of a protein and active site, and that's why it can be changed the effect. As I shown you, I have explained, when you increase the temperature, it may cause a conformational changes, tertiary structure it will get changed. Now the next term is nothing but known as the effect of the pH. Okay, so effect of the pH is nothing but we can say enzyme velocity. Say example, same graph we have to draw, enzyme velocity against the pH. Enzyme velocity against the pH we have to draw. It will show again the bell shaped graph. Means what? Temperature is also affecting and enzyme is also affecting. See, as we know, enzyme made up of protein. Say example, I can give you the some we can different example I am giving you right now for the pH understanding. See what is happening in the particular when milk is made up of what? Protein. Okay, so if you squeeze lemon juice or lemon in milk, what will happen? Yes, it is coagulated, and that protein gets separate and water gets separated from that. Why this is happening? Because as you change the pH, the protein will change the configuration of the, particularly its own configuration, or conformational changes will occur. Tertiary structure will get changed, and that's why pH, and as A is equal to B means what? Protein is affecting by pH. A is equal to B, and your enzyme is made up of what? Protein. So A is equal to C. So if A is equal to B and A is equal to C, so B is equal to C. So in that case, what is happening? I'm not going in the maths, but just only understand this structure. As an enzyme is made up of protein, when you increase the hydrogen ion concentration, it may give increase in activity, but up to certain limit. After that, effect of the temperature is there, that may be affect. So temperature may affect enzyme activity. That is nothing but it will reduce the activity or it will increase the activity, but increase the activity up to certain limit, and then temperature pH will get, it will known as optimum pH, and that is nothing but then after that it will decrease the activity. So very important point is what? Effect of the pH. As we increase the hydrogen ion concentration, that pH, the activity get increased up to certain limit and then further decay. Then optimum activity shown by the many of the enzyme is in between the 6 to 8, in between the 6 to 8, but some other exceptions are there, not visible. Okay, just 1 second. Okay, now it's visible. Everybody, is it visible? Now is it visible, everybody? Yes, okay. Now those who are not able to see in the Sakshi and Vishal, so and particularly we can say, if you're not able to see, then please refresh your page, then it will be possibly visible. Now come towards the point, effect of the pH. When we think about the effect of the pH is nothing but, as you increase the pH, then it may be activity, it will increase the activity but to a certain limit. After that it will get decrease the activity. Now come towards the point, optimum activity is nothing but of the enzyme is 6 to 8. Then pepsin, say example pepsin is there, one of the enzyme which is stable and active at the 1 to 2. So when we think about the pepsin is nothing but having a activity more than 1 to 2 pH, is nothing but we can say in stomach. Whereas in intestine we having a pH is nothing but we can say more than 5 or 6. So acid phosphatase is an enzyme which can be stable up to 4 to 5 pH, and pepsin is nothing but active at the pH of 1 to 2. So very important is what, as a temperature wise it is showing the same bell shaped graph, and optimum pH is required for the some enzyme and some enzyme. So another example I can ask you about the temperature और pH का एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ. Why in refrigeration or refrigerated can store food? The temperature is low. As the temperature is low, so it can be stable. It will deactivate the enzyme which causing a degradation. Bacterial enzyme which is degraded. See, if you are keeping tomato outside the fridge and inside the fridge, so it will be outsider, which can be stay up to 3 days. After that enzymatic reaction takes place and it will get degrade, whereas or decompose. Whereas in a refrigerator, what will happen? It will decrease the temperature. That's why it can be reduce the enzyme activity, and the enzyme activity is reduced, then decomposition will be longer. Why in a refrigerator things are very good and things will not decompose or degenerate or degrade. So that is nothing but an example of it. Now the third parameter, so I hope you understand. Now the next one is, okay, hope it is visible. Is it visible? Third page. You can say yes, sir. Okay, thank you. So effect of the product concentration. Effect of the product concentration, we will think about it, the third parameter. Yes, Sainath, you had any question? If you had any question, see any moment, if you had any question, please let me know. You can send me that question, I will solve that problem or query. Now come towards the point, effect of the product concentration. Okay, Saina. So effect of the product concentration. Effect of the product concentration means what is happening. See, I already told in my starting of that lecture that product concentration is nothing but, we can say, enzyme will bind with the substrate, enzyme active site, where the particularly we can say we are having a substrate formation. And what will happen, as a accumulation of the C, enzyme is there, substrate is there, then it will form the complex, and that it is converted into product. Further what happen, the product is increasing, substrate is reducing, substrate is reducing and product is increasing. So after that what will happen, as the accumulation of the product, as the reaction proceed, accumulation of the product will takes place, and that will decrease the enzyme velocity. How? Because the product whichever form, it is having, say example, enzyme is having an active site, and unfortunately your product is also forming a loose complex with that active site. So what will happen, that will reduce the chances of the active site to occupy by the substrate. Understanding? Just one second, I will tell you. One, we are having a substrate, and one, we are having a product. So this substrate is there binding with the enzyme, and then after that product is forming. After certain limit, what happen, substrate is reducing and product is more. So this product, if it has a chance to bind with, particularly we can say loosely complex with the enzyme, then substrate will not get the site, active site of enzyme. Substrate will not get the active site of the enzyme to convert into product, and that is happening. This is also known as a negative feedback mechanism, particularly we can say feedback mechanism also it is known to be. Means what, as the product is increased, it will bind with the loosely with the particularly enzyme active site, and then it will inhibit the activity of enzyme, and enzyme activity get reduced, and that is nothing but the example of effect of product concentration. So effect of product concentration is very important, particularly we can say. So in this, the end product is nothing but feedback mechanism. See, we will learn in the next coming lecture that what do you mean by feedback mechanism is there. So we already studied in glycolysis also, in some of the another enzyme reactions also, that feedback mechanism, as a product is increase, automatically that enzyme will get inactivate, and that product will get decrease in a concentration. So that is nothing but the, we can say, effect of the product concentration. So we had seen just now effect of the temperature, effect of the pH, effect of the product concentration. Now we will move towards the effect of the activators. See, in my previous lecture, when we studied the purine synthesis, when we studied the glycolysis, TCA, all, we were writing some metal ion, magnesium ion, manganese ion, then particularly copper, zinc, that we had written down. Why we written down in an enzymatic reaction? That because it is act as an activator. Some enzyme will fasten the activity in the, particularly we can say, some with the some metal complex or metal enzyme. It is known as a metallo, particularly we can say metal activated enzyme and metallo enzyme. So what do you mean by metal activated enzyme? The metal is not tightly bound with the enzyme, bind with the enzyme, and can be exchanged easily with the other ion, that is known as a metal activated enzyme. Means what? For the enzyme activity, enzyme will smoothly work and it will get activated with the help of these activated sites. So very important is what? Effect of the activator. Now come towards the point, when we think of the particular effect of the activator, enzymes are there, enzyme will bind with the, particularly we can say, substrate. So these metal ions are nothing but, example is there, manganese, magnesium, manganese, then particularly we can say calcium, then zinc, copper. These are nothing but the, we can say, that will enhance the activity of enzyme, that will enhance the activity of enzyme. Say example, chloride ion is there for amylase. Amylase enzyme present in your particular saliva. So it will increase the activity if chloride ion is there. So that is nothing but we can say it is helpful for increase the velocity of reaction. The metal activator helpful for the binding of the enzyme and substrate complex. Metal activator helpful the fasten the reaction. Metal activator helpful for the increase the product activity, or we can say formation of the product. So that is nothing but we can say effect of the activity. Example is there enzyme, sorry, magnesium, manganese, calcium, zinc, copper, iron. Then particularly some, say example, metal activated enzymes are there, which are nothing but metal is not tightly bound with the enzyme, but it will increase the activity. Example is ATPase enzyme is there, that is required magnesium or calcium. Right. Where the another part is known as a metalloenzyme. Metalloenzyme are nothing but we can say these enzyme. Yes, sir. Can you repeat the metal activated enzyme? Okay. So metal activated enzyme. One question has been asked by the particularly we can say. One second. Okay, Pooja Chavan had asked me, can you repeat the metal activated enzyme? See, there are two types of enzymes are there. One is nothing but where the metal ion are tightly bound, that is known as a metalloenzyme. And in some of the we can say it will not tightly bound, but it will enhance the activity of the enzyme. See, take an example in classroom. Okay, I am repeating Siddhi. So what happened? Take an example. I will give you one example. One is nothing but we having a one CR in classroom. That CR is nothing but a very active member. See, if I am a particularly enzyme and I am telling you, please do some activity. Say example, I will pass on one message to CR. Say example, in my class, the CR is nothing but first year class is Dipesh. If I ask something Dipesh, say Dipesh, please convey this message. Tomorrow I am having a lecture. Okay. So there are two possibility. One is nothing but Dipesh will announce in classroom that tomorrow you are having a biochemistry lecture of Pritam sir. Then everybody will join. But in some extent in a classroom, some students will not join. They will say example 10 students are there. 10 students are studying in library and they will sit over there कि जाने दो भाई इनका lecture क्यों attend करना है. No, I don't want to attend. So in that case, if Dipesh going over there in library and he will bring that one, that is known as, that is an example of a metalloenzyme and a particular metal activated enzyme. मतलब दीपेश ने अगर किसी को बुलाया, Dipesh had call and they had already come. In that case, Dipesh is not responsible to bring a particularly students here in for the class. तो उसको क्या बोलते हैं, उसको बोलते हैं मेटल एक्टिवेटेड एंजाइम. मतलब वहां पे मेटल्स आर नॉट बाइंडिंग विद द एंजाइम बट दे विल इंक्रीज द एक्टिविटी ऑफ एंजाइम. मतलब क्या हुआ, यहाँ पे मेटल बाइंड नहीं करते एंजाइम के साथ लेकिन इंक्रीज करते हैं एक्टिविटी, कॉम्प्लेक्स फॉर्मेशन एंड ऑल. वी कैन से इट विल मॉड्यूलेट द एक्टिव साइट लाइकवाइज एंड इट विल इंक्रीज द एक्टिविटी. वेयर एज द मेटालो एंजाइम में क्या होता है, ये जो बाकी 10 वाले बंदे हैं, मतलब दीपेश जाके लाइब्रेरी में जाके उनको खींच के लेके आता है. इन दैट केस व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, दैट इज नोन एज अ मेटालोएंजाइम. मतलब क्या है कि दे आर बाइंडिंग, अनलेस एंड अंटिल यू बाइंड दे विल नॉट कम हियर, दे विल नॉट कम हियर. Okay, got it, Pooja. So now got it. It's a simple example. So metal activated enzyme is nothing but enzymes which are nothing but directly it's not involved in the reaction but it will increase. Yes, Siddhi. I hope you understand. Everybody is understand this topic. So effect of the activity in that metalloactivated enzyme means what? These are not directly bind. It will increase the activity without binding, without involvement of the reaction. But and it will not exchange also easily. But particularly we can say, sorry, it can be exchanged. Now come towards the one metalloenzyme. It is tightly bound, and tightly bound means what? It will not ever detach from the enzyme. So example of this is xanthine oxidase is there. Example is molybdenum. Then pyruvate oxidase which require manganese enzyme. Okay, so that is nothing but we can say these are the enzyme which activate a particularly enzyme, and depend on this it can be work out. Now come towards the point. we have completed the total, we can say, effect of the temperature, effect of the pH, effect of the activator, effect of the product concentrator. So 4 we had completed, the remaining we will complete now. Okay, so those who are Kokan Gyanpit student can send their number and the name, number with the full name on a chat session. So now come towards the point, effect of the time. I'm repeating again, those who are students of Kokan Gyanpit, so please write it for the notification and for the record maintenance we required, and that is nothing but you can send your name and number on chat session. And but I'm telling you again that it is not virtual, we can say I'm giving permission to leave the lecture. Please be attentive so that you can understand the various factors. Now come towards the, yes, I got it. So effect of the time. Now come towards the point, if is it visible? Everybody can say, is it visible? Okay. So effect of the time. Effect of the time is very important because time is nothing but required for each reaction to be held. And when I started that lecture, I had given you example that as a time is increasing, as a time is increasing, then it may cause a reduction in an enzyme, or we can say, or inhibition of the enzyme or activation of enzyme. So what is happening in that case? So specifically time is required, means what? Time is depend on which factor? Two factor, temperature and pH. Say example, I had given you the idli batter. When you get idli batter for in a summer season, winter season and rainy season, time is required in a particular winter season and the rainy season. Time does not required in a particularly, we can say, in summer season it is lesser time required, whereas in a winter season it required more time, and rainy season is in between that. Means summer season is required more time, sorry, less time, then rainy season is nothing but require little bit more than the summer season, and again winter season it will require more a particular time. So now come towards the point, is nothing but effect of the time is like that. So reaction become faster, and because of the alteration of the pH and temperature, the effect of the time is also there with the reaction activity. Now come towards the point, effect of a light and radiation. So what do you mean by effect of the light and radiation? Effect of the light and radiation. See example, some I will take attendance at the end of lecture also, because today's lecture will be extended. So please attend you. It is not like that you are giving the attendance for Kokan Gyanpit student. I am just telling you. For so everybody should be present up to end, because at the end also I will take the particularly, we can say, attendance. Now come towards the point. When we think about the effect of the light and radiation, as a UV light, particularly we can say UV light is there, then beta light, gamma, X-rays are there, that will inactivate the particularly, we can say, enzyme. So what is happening when we, sometime it is inactive? Why inactivate? Because same is a parameter is there, we have to go in flashback. That is, enzyme is made up of protein, and protein can affect by the light radiation, the UV radiation, because CONH is a group. CONH. See, this CONH can form a particularly peroxide in the presence of some light energy, that is UV light. So in UV light is nothing but, we can say, it will cause in particularly formation of the peroxide, and the formation of the peroxide because of the effect of the temperature. So very important is what, whenever you are learning this light and radiation, it can be affect the enzyme. So light therapy is also utilized for the activation of the some enzyme, and that is nothing but effect of the light and radiation. It may affect the activity of the enzyme. So up to this we had completed effect of the temperature, effect of the pH, effect of the product concentration, effect of the activators, effect of the time, effect of the light and radiation. Now we will think about the concentration of enzyme. So example of UV light, it will decrease the activity of salivary amylase. UV light will decrease the activity of the salivary amylase. Now come towards the point of sixth parameter, that is concentration of enzyme. As the concentration of enzyme is increasing, the enzyme activities get increased. Means what? Say example, like this graph you will get. See, as a enzyme is nothing from the zero, it will go. Activity of the enzyme is nothing but, we can say, enzyme concentration. So as the enzyme concentration increase, the activity of enzyme is increase, but at will subturn, particularly we can say it can be get stopped. But it is common factor, as you increase the concentration of enzyme, it will increase the, particularly we can say, activity of the enzyme. So very important aspect is there, particularly we can say the concentration of enzyme has increased, the enzyme activity of the enzyme is also increasing. Shraddha Patil, do you want to send something? Shraddha Patil, because message is not perfectly came. Okay, so if you had any question in this, you can ask me. 2 minutes I am giving you for the understanding. Topic is nothing but we had covered. So first tip is nothing but we can say we had seen the factors affecting enzyme activity. In that we had completed time, temperature, we had completed the time. I will show you. The various factors are like this. So we are having a factors like the effect of the temperature, effect of the pH, concentration of the enzyme, effect of the, particularly we can say, activators, then effect of the product concentration, effect of the time, effect of the light and radiation, and effect of the substrate concentration. So like this various particularly factors are there that we have learned. But tomorrow we will go for the effect of the substrate concentration, because it is not normally it is affected, but the effect of the substrate concentration, because as you increase the substrate, it will decrease the activity, the order of reaction we have to learn in that. We also learn enzyme kinetics not visible. Okay. Okay, now it is visible. Nikhil, okay, is it not visible? Okay, Sakshi Bohir, if you had a problem with the enzyme, particularly we can say seen that, please refresh your page. Once you refresh page, you can able to get it, because it's some, because of the reason, because of the we can say network problem also. So other persons, please, if you, if it is visible, please send me. Yes, it is visible. Samriddhi, is it visible? Okay, those who are present, please message me. Okay. Okay, now is it visible now? Okay, thank you, thank you. So factors affecting enzyme activity, then last factor is remaining, that is effect of the substrate concentration. So in that we have to learn Km value, that is nothing but the, we can say, Michaelis Menten equation we have to learn. Then we have to learn Bring and Haldane constants. Then we have to learn Vmax. What do you mean by Vmax? What do you mean by first order? What do you mean by zero order? For that you have to refer an Ehringer, and tomorrow we will learn about this all is nothing but the effect of the substrate concentration, because it required almost one derivation is there. That derivation today tomorrow we will do, and that is very important aspect for the, okay, effect of concentration. Nikhil, repeat the concentration of enzyme. Okay, concentration of enzyme. Okay, Nikhil, is it visible for you? Okay. Now concentration of enzyme is nothing but, as you increase see what is happening, the graph when you are drawing about the activity of enzyme is nothing but activity of enzyme is there, and sorry, reaction activity is there, and that is enzyme concentration. As you increase the concentration, there is an increase in activity of the particularly enzyme, and increase the reaction is nothing but we can say it is possible, we can say continue. So what will happen when we think about enzyme activity? Very important is what? Concentration of enzyme. Agar aap, enzyme is required in a very small amount, but if you are reducing a particular activity, so what will happen? Then it will, if you decrease the concentration of enzyme, then there is a decrease. Say example, if you require to convert total curd from the particularly milk, say 1 liter of milk is required 1%, particularly 0.1% of the enzyme, that is 1% of the yeast if we require, or we can say to make a curd we require 0.1% of enzyme. So if we increase the activity, say example, if you increase the concentration of the substrate, अगर हमने एक सिंपल है, टेक एग्जांपल, अगर मैं बोलता हूँ 100 मॉलिक्यूल्स अगर सबस्ट्रेट के, और उसको कन्वर्ट करता है 1% इज रिक्वायर्ड फॉर द कन्वर्जन ऑफ दिस 100 molecule 100 molecules into product. Then if you increase the concentration of enzyme, what will happen? More enzyme and substrate complex will form and more activity can be done. So very important is what? Concentration of enzyme. As you increase the concentration of enzyme, it will increase the, particularly we can say, as you increase the temperature, as you increase the concentration of enzyme, it will increase the velocity of the reaction will get increased, and it is a directly proportional. That's why I had seen here, you can see in here, I had proportional directly. So it is a, as you increase the temperature, is increase the concentration of enzyme, velocity of reaction will get increased, and that will conclude. I hope you understand, Nikhil. Did you get the point? I am asking to Nikhil, did you get point? Is it clear? Doubt is clear? Okay, Nikhil Bhanushali, your doubt is clear now? That concentration of enzyme is nothing but we can say enzyme activity is increased, enzyme concentration is increased, the velocity of the reaction will get increased, but is nothing but depend on the how the reaction takes place and all. So you can able to get a graph like this, that is nothing but a substrate concentration is nothing but we can say it will increase the enzyme concentration is here, enzyme velocity is there, that is activity, and then it will get a graph like this, a straight line graph will be there. So that is nothing but all about today's lecture. I hope you understand every topic, and please those who are Kokan Ganpi student, you can send me your name and number right now. I will wait for 2 minutes. After that we will close this session. So this is nothing but all about those who are remaining for the attendance of the Kokan Ganpit. You can send me your number, and if you understand, if you don't understand anything about it, you can comment me in comment section, so that I can explain you like that. Thank you very much for attending today's lecture, and I hope you understand the enzyme factors affecting enzyme activity. Thank you very much. Have a good day.